Thanks for tuning in. I see you're passionate about your future, so we're going to dive right into it. So in today's video, we'll be going over a few setups that I called on NFP Friday, which is actually today. One thing to know about NFP Friday, well, a couple things to know. NFP is non-farm payroll, so it's basically how many jobs we have in our economy. So it's basically a good scale of our economy, right? If there's a lot of jobs or if there's no jobs, obviously the economy doing good or bad. So that's a good gauge on what our economy is doing and where we stand. So obviously the whole NFP week is the first week of every month, right? And then you have NFP Friday, which is like the most newsworthy day, the most red folder impact day, and that's every Friday, the first Friday of every month. So most traders on that first week of every month, NFP week, right, they kind of change up their strategies a little bit. They might risk less, they might trade a little less, they might miss more days of trading, maybe only trade Monday and Tuesday and not the rest of the week. Because what you will see is that during NFP week, if you're looking at the news on Forex Factory, right, Monday, Tuesday, it might start off no impact, orange impact news, right? Maybe one red folder. Next thing you know, Wednesday, Thursday, you're seeing a couple reds and a couple oranges, right? And then boom, Friday comes, all red folders, showing you how volatile and how honestly risky it is to trade. So it is risky to trade during NFP week. You might want to approach it a different way. I know NFP week, and of course I'm unorthodox, so I found out during backtesting that on NFP Friday specifically, when New York has all these red folders, high impact news, right, you can't really trade. Everybody knows it's NFP Friday once again, so it's just a lot more risky. But what I found is, obviously I trade London, and time again on NFP Friday, when New York is untradeable, it seems like London is more volatile because all the traders from New York that can't trade but wants to trade, excuse me, all the traders in New York that can't trade but want to trade is now heading over to London sesh to get some type of bread, to get some type of setup, right? So London is way more volatile. And to be honest, NFP seems to affect New York, which is us, seems to affect our pairs and how we trade, and not really London. So with that being said, knowing that I trade London NFP Friday, which will have no high impact news, it will all be yellow like a normal trading day, and then I won't trade New York. So that's the key there that I found during backtesting and what I plan to prove during this video. Like I said, I went 3-0 on NFP Friday, all London. Then I trade New York. So let's dive right into it and go over our setups. So here we have Euro Swiss on the 15-minute time frame. Of course, you know I'm looking for my setups on the 15-minute time frame first. So when I came to my sesh, this is what we had. And as you can see, we can go ahead and mark up our what? High probability demand. Because what we see here, this one red doji, price explodes out. This next green candle never pulls back, right? So there's this huge gap in the market. Huge gap in the market letting us know everybody didn't get in, and now price is coming down to fill in that gap and possibly let everybody else in and to continue to the upside because the big banks move the market. So why would they get stumped out, right? And another thing I saw as well is all this room or gaps in the market that we had to fill, right? This is a huge drop right here, and price is trying to fill that in. And this is another huge drop, honestly, that price needs to fill in. Probably head towards this liquidity up here, or probably even fill in the whole gap. So at this point, I'm very confident about this setup and about this buy, and seeing that we were kind of not on an uptrend, but just moving up, right? Just kind of moving up. So I like this setup. So what we see now is we have our box, right? Our demand zone drawn out. And what we can do is let price play out here. Now we see that price is heading to our demand. Gotta know that. So right here, I was zoomed into our 5-minute chart like we know we love to do to get that sniper entry And what you will actually see here is that there's actually a 5-minute demand set up inside of this 15-minute demand. So when that happens, it's just more confluence that this is the true move, right? It's just, like I said, just another sign that, hey, everybody didn't get in. This is the move. Go ahead and take this. Whenever you get your confluence to get into the trade or your signal to get into the trade, you should be taking this setup. So here we're letting price come down to our zone, and we're just waiting, right, for price to fill, boom, right there. We're just waiting on price to fill that gap. So I know on a 1 hour setup, if there's a 15-minute setup inside of the 1 hour, we will shrink the box. But when there's a 15-minute setup and a 5-minute setup, right? So a 5-minute setup inside of this 15-minute box, we're going to leave the 15-minute box the way it is. We're not going to shrink it down to the 5-minute setup, right? We're not trying to get that sniper. We're just understanding that, hey, price might want to come into our box a little deeper to fill in this 5-minute gap and then take off. But it threw us in right here. We see the break of the candle to the upside. So we will be getting in right here, right when that candle broke. If you can see, that's right when that candle broke. And then our stop loss, we're going to give it a little room, right? We're going to give it a little room. We don't want to be hugging our previous candle. We don't want the stop loss underneath the box because that's way too large. So we just want to give it a little breathing room just in case it fluctuates a little bit. It doesn't wick us out and then go our way, right? We don't want to lose just to win. And then we have to get back in. That messes with psychology and things like that. So just give your stop loss a little room. And then, you know, we always go for our 1-to-1. But honestly, seeing that we had all those gaps to fill up top, like I mentioned earlier, I will at least be heading for this liquidity, right? Somewhere up in here, maybe a 1-to-2 or something like that. Just because we know we have gaps to fill up top. But obviously we get our 1-to-1 first. I always get 1-to-1 first, and then we can worry about moving stop loss up and trailing positions to the upside. So we can go back to our 15-minute time frame right now, because you know what else I love to do is mark up when the 15-minute people got in, which is right here. So now we're actually seeing the difference between the 15-minute setup entry and the 5-minute setup entry, and that is a sniper entry, right? 5-minute setup got in right here. 5-minute entry got in right here. The 15-minute people the 15-minute people that's taking their 15-minute entry will get in up here, the break of that candle or this line. So we're already in profit when they just getting in. And we know when they get in, we should see a major push to the upside as well, because now we have momentum with them getting into their positions to go to the upside. So now we're into the trade, so we're just watching it, right? We're waiting to see exactly what happens. We can pause right there. We see that the 15-minute people just got triggered into the trade, and we're a half a pip away from TP1, right? And as you can see, we only had minimum drawdown. Remember, this is on NFP Friday. This isn't a regular day, and this is a textbook setup. This is nothing new. A minimum drawdown here, and then we're into profit. So let's continue to let price play out here. And we can see TP1 just got hit, right? And it's to the moon. Right now we're sitting at a 1-to-1, but like I said, if you was at least heading for the 1-to-2 because you know that there's a lot of gaps to fill, you definitely would have gotten that. Or you can try to hold as long as you possibly can to go to the upside. I got out at a 1-to-2, right up in this area, right after 1-to-1. And it's NFP, I'm not gonna hold that long. So once it got to 1-to-2 and I started seeing kind of these rejections and this little slow period up in here, letting me know it might want to fall back down, I went ahead and took my profits. So this was a little over 1-to-2, right? Basically a 1-to-2 textbook setup. This was zero Swiss, NFP Friday. As you see, the 15-minute people got in, and we can see if they actually won here because their stop loss is 10 pips. So their 1-to-1 will be right here. And let's see if theirs got tapped. Let's see, boom, right there. Their 1-to-1 just got tapped. So now everybody has won this trade. Excuse me. everybody has won this trade. The 15-minute people just won on this candle here. You just have to put up with all this consolidation, right? Kind of moving sideways, which I wouldn't have because it's NFP. So it's up to you. But what I'm trying to prove is that NFP is so, like, it brings so much fear into traders. And I just want to bring light to it that I found a way around NFP Friday. And obviously I trade NFP Friday, but London and not New York. So this was Euro Swiss, textbook setup. You know, we called 13 pips off of this move. I went 3-0, so let's get to the next setup and cover that one. So here we have Euro GBP on the 15-minute time frame once again, right? Of course, this is all London. I'm telling you guys, you gotta backtest this on NFP Friday when New York is not tradable. Honestly, I would never trade New York on NFP Friday. Look at London, the session before New York, and watch how volatile and watch how London is moving, because everybody that trades New York knows not to trade it on NFP Friday, so they're looking for other instruments and other sessions to trade. So here we have Euro GBP on the 15-minute time frame. We have our supply here. We can mark that up. Gotta know it. So we have our supply. We see prices was going up, right? And then it's crashing down now, leaving this tiny little gap here. Every gap counts, right? We're not picking and choosing the setup. If it leaves a gap, we're drawing it up, simply. And what you can see down here, after the exploding of price, is another 15-minute zone, which is a demand, right? Price explodes. Last red candle explodes. This candle, the next candle after the move, never pulls back to the previous candle that started the move. So it's leaving this huge gap, right? Huge gap. So what we're hoping for now is for price to touch either one to head towards the other one. So we don't pick and choose. We're letting price choose, and understand that if it hits this supply, we have a demand down here and also some support down here that we can aim towards. So we can let price play out here and see which zone it wants to pick. Boom, right there. You see that it fills in our gap from that supply first. So we know we're taking a sell and holding it for either this liquidity right here, this demand zone, or even this support. You have plenty of options. So you know I like to mark up the 15-minute. See, it might be this one. The 15-minute candle as well. Let's zoom into the 5-minute, and you see that we already got our entry, which was right here. A little room on the stop loss. You can go back to our stop loss video to see exactly how to place your stop loss. And then we're heading for a 1-to-1, correct? 1-to-1, or like I said, you can shoot for this liquidity, which is basically 1-to-1, or you can shoot for this demand or even this support down here. Me, honestly, I would shoot for this demand, knowing how volatile London is on NFP Friday. I'm knowing that it should shoot down there. But of course, we're getting our 1-to-1s first. I always get 1-to-1 first, and then we can go from there. So if we let price play out here, we'll see that the 15-minute people just got in on the cross of this gold line. So we should see some momentum. And you kind of see the difference of a sniper entry and the 15-minute setup entry. It's not always going to be a big difference, but each pip matters. So we're letting price continue, right? Oh, just like that. Just like that. TP1 gets destroyed. Only a tad bit of drawdown. I mean, as a trader, you should be able to handle this drawdown. That's nothing. And that was it. That was all she wrote. I held to the zone a little bit in it, and it was basically a 1-to-2. 1-to-1.5, whatever you want to call it. We called 7 pips on this setup. It was a textbook setup again. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to really say. It's the same thing over and over and over. But what I'm trying to prove is that you can trade NFP, and it makes a difference, but it makes a difference in New York. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So this was my second setup, textbook setup, a supply zone to the demand zone, and that was all she wrote. Let's see if price continues to our support level here. See exactly what happens. and you see it's still going, right? Still going. So I don't hold that long on NFP, obviously, because it is NFP. We still got to respect it. But I'm still taking setups and I'm still trading, but London, not New York, where all the high impact news will be. So let's get to our third and final setup here. I just wanted to go through all of them so you can see that this is possible. Let's get over to the next one. So we have Cash Swiss here on the 15-minute time frame. This setup was cutting it a little close. I wasn't too sure about this setup, but my confidence is in my strategy, not the market, right? So I know my strategy works. Whether the market respects it or not is up to the market. So what I've done here is marked up our 15-minute demand, right? Gotta know it. We see that this last red candle, it blasts out. The next candle after the move never pulls back, so it leaves this small gap here. And now we're waiting on price to fall down and filling that gap to throw us in to the upside. And now I'm telling you, when I got into this setup, I was aiming for liquidity. You know, there's a lot of liquidity up here, a lot of money sitting up here. So this would be a good TP, but obviously we get our TP1 first and go from there. So let's let price play out here. Just 1 second. I mean, we have to go back. First of all, you saw this huge exhaustion candle, right? Breaking structure, getting this liquidity right here. So now we're having momentum to go to the upside. And we know this candle here is scaring a lot of traders. They're getting out, so that's adding momentum. So at this point, I'm confident about the buy with liquidity sitting up top as well. So if we zoom into our 5-minute, we'll see that this was a quick entry. And again, you don't want to be on that 15-minute time frame when price touches your box. You want to get there a little bit before so you don't miss these entries. Cannot miss these entries. So let's head for our 1-to-1 first. You see we have a 2.5 pip stop loss. Again, resort to our stop loss video to see how to place it. I mean, this was 2 pips, 2.5 pips. So it is what it is. Very sniper entry. And we see as soon as we get in, I mean, we're right into profit. TP1 almost hit already. And then we can go to the 15-minute as well. You know, we like to do this and mark up where the 15-minute people will get into the setup, which is right here. So now you're seeing the difference of a sniper entry and getting in on the 15-minute setup. The 15-minute people are not even in on the setup yet. We're damn near about to win already on a 2-pip stop loss. 0 drawdown. This is a textbook setup. So we can win before they even get into the setup. Or hold, because we know when they get into the setup, we should see some momentum to the upside, and their entry is above our 1-to-1, so we can easily move our stop loss up and secure our winnings from our 1-to-1. Let's let price play out here. So TP1 has got touched, and now you see exactly what I mean, right? Now you see what I mean. The 15-minute people got in here. Look at that momentum. And what did it do? It went and got that liquidity, just like I said. Right, so we're looking at a 1-to-3, a little bit over 1-to-3. That's where I got out at, especially once I seen it pulling back. And we grabbed the liquidity as NFP, 0 drawdown, right? And it left a gap right here as well. So we know that price might want to come back and fill in this gap. So that's where I got out at, especially after winning the other two. We're not trying to hold long, and I wasn't too sure about this setup anyway. So the fact that it went and grabbed the liquidity just like I wanted is just a plus, right? And you can see here the difference between, which is, look, that's our stop loss right there. So the difference between the 15-minute entry and the sniper entry on the 5-minute is just clutch. So this is NFP Friday. We called 8 pips on this one as well. So it's possible. You know, you don't have to listen to all the gurus and all the mentors out there. You go and back test and do your own thing. You find what works for you. You see what I'm saying? This is like the 2nd or 3rd time I've traded NFP Friday, London, and seen the exact same thing happen. So I thought I should bring this to you guys, and maybe you can back test it and see what you're seeing. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? So that's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed what we covered today, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, right? Share the channel. I know I've been going for a couple weeks. I miss YouTube. I know YouTube missed me. I just had to focus in on these charts. We know January was a little rough, so coming into February, I wanted to lock in, tune in, and it's already going well, right? February is already going well. NFP killed it 3-0. So we're ready for the market next week, and it should be moving great. The news all next week is great. So let's make 2023 the great year that we all said it was. This is everybody's Jordan year, right? I'm 23 on 2023. So it's up. I'm finna finish my course for you guys and make sure everybody's on the same beat and same page. That's all I got for you guys. I'm Mr. Unorthodox. Keep thinking outside the box. Peace out.